Welcome to Glorious Botafogo, your number one source of Botafogo news in English. The Alvinegro beat Fortaleza of Renato Paiva by 5 goals to 0. 5 goals to 0. Yes, at the 5th minute of the first half, Fortaleza got a man sent off, but that is not our problem because he should have known better. That type of tackle, when you raise the sole of the cleats up and you hit him close to the knee, midway through the shin, it's an automatic red. Again, not our problem. And Botafogo now has the highest victory away from home in its history of the Brasileirão. 5-0 is the record for Botafogo as a visitor in the history of the tournament. So very nice, very cool little tidbit of information now. Marçal scored twice. Marçal played as a center back, improvised on the right side. So he played as a right center back when he's usually a left back. So Marçal, as a right center back, scored 2 goals off of set pieces. And then David Ricardo also scored a goal from a set piece as well. And then Arthur Cabral scored in a beautiful ball by Álvaro Montoro. What a player. I keep saying this. Feels like it's a broken record, but Montoro's incredible. And then Matheus Martins with the long shot from outside the box. I think the keeper kind of ate that. But again, not a problem. Botafogo beat Fortaleza 5 goals to 0 and maintains there in the top flight of teams that are fighting for the title. Botafogo needs to stay, within top 6, top 7, top 8 margin so when, the second leg of the tournament, when it gets to about halfway, it's really when you start to see who is going to show up and win, or at least make themselves a title contender. So far, so good. Botafogo is still in that race, and we're still going. Good to see that. Tomorrow, at the Newton Santos, Neto, the new goalkeeper for Botafogo, is going to have his press conference. Today, on his Instagram page, Neto posted a picture of his father that played for Botafogo 40 years ago. And it's really cool to see that connection that Neto has with the club, that, his father got to play for us. Now he gets to play and write his own history here. So good luck to Neto. I wish nothing but the best for him. And let's see who's going to be the starting goalkeeper. Now it's between Neto and John. John left the club. Now he's coming back with the tail behind, the tail tucked between his legs. Now we have Neto, which is super experienced keeper. We will see. What's going on there. I think Botafogo keeps John in the Libertadores and maybe even perhaps plays Neto in the Brasileirão or the Copa do Brasil, especially to give John some breaks, some less minutes on the pitch. But we'll see what happens with that. Tomorrow as well, Chris Ramos will be arriving at Botafogo, the Spaniard striker, the 28-year-old Spaniard striker coming from Cadiz from Spain, La Liga, is coming to Botafogo. It's going to be the total amount. It's like 3.5 million euros that could shoot up to about 6.5 million euros if he hits certain metrics, certain marks, certain amount of goals, certain minutes, matches, so on. Chris Ramos is a player that started in the 3rd division of the Spanish football. Once he got to the 2nd division, he started to do a little bit well. Once he got to Cadiz, he really found a stride. And the club is in need of money, in need of cash flow, which is something that we know about. But they need to sell players. Some of their fans are not happy. Some of their fans are pretty sad that he's leaving, which could be good news for us. Hopefully, Chris Ramos can settle in really, really nicely here. I think he's like 6'2", 6'3", and he's super fast. He's actually had one of the fastest sprint speeds of the La Liga, which is, it's got players like Vini and Mbappe, and I think his sprint speed was faster. It's a lot of speed for a guy that's 6'3". So Yeah, welcome as well to Chris Ramos. Botafogo is trying to sign another center back, and it's focused its attentions on Alex Vinicius from Atletico Goianiense. So the club is trying to get this signing done within the first half of the week. We are in a desperate need of a center back. Unfortunately, Caio Pantaleão will have this hamstring injury, and he's going to be out for a whole month. Bastos will not be back until October. And then we have Alexander Barbosa, which against Fortaleza could not play because he had 3 yellow cards, and Barbosa gets about a yellow card a match. So, it's important to have an extra defender so we don't have to rely on Marçal to play center back, although he did fine. He did well. Botafogo met with Edu Gaspar from Nottingham Forest and Marinakis' MCO. Why? Well, he was in Brazil to check out Botafogo, check out the installations, check out, what the club looks like, from the inside, and got a close eye. And the response from Edu was positive, and this not only reinforces the fact that Marinakis and John Textor are getting closer and closer to doing this partnership. And from some reports, this is a plan to add Botafogo to this MCO if John Textor is not able to get Botafogo back from Eagle football. We will get to that in a second. But before that, this Thursday, Botafogo plays LDU from Quito. The club will play the Ecuadorians for the Libertadores. It is the round of 16. There's about 26. Actually, yeah, this match will be at the Newton Santos. There's about 26,000 tickets sold for LDU. Thursday, August 14th, it's going to be at the Newton Santos. Yep. At 5 p.m. Again, there's been 26,000 tickets sold. It's Sunday, so there's probably some more tickets sold. It will be sold out this Thursday. Botafogo will have a full house against LDU because we are the defending champions and we need to beat them at home so we can go to Quito and not having to depend to win, because that becomes even, it gets really complicated if that happens. Botafogo needs to get the result at home and basically get, the qualification well underway at home, so to avoid any sort of disaster or catastrophes. Now, speaking of disasters and catastrophes in a way, the 2024 financial sheets and balances for Botafogo have been released, and they came out a couple of days ago. I have been waiting to look at them. I have not personally looked at them, but I have seen and I have watched and I have read from people that have done this. And one of the ones that I liked a lot, his analysis of the balance sheet was Matheus Medeiros from Canal de Medeiros. He has a degree in accountability and all that. He's worked for this institutions that do these sort of audits, so he knows what he's talking about. Some other things are positive. For example, all of the turnout, financially, how the supporters financially helped Botafogo in 2024. I mean, the supporters showed up in 2024. I mean, straight up. Ticket sales, revenue from the stadium, revenue from shirts, revenue from Botafogo store in general. It's millions of dollars. It's like a master sponsorship. Botafogo supporters themselves in 2024 earned the club something that is equivalent to a master sponsorship, which is really good, really good. Also in 2024, there were prizes for winning the Libertadores, for going to the World Cup at the end of the year in December, for winning the Brasileirão, for selling players. However, that is not going to be the norm every year. And if you look at the sheets and balances and you're trying to project it for a long term, Botafogo is going to have to win a title or two every year to make something like this sustainable. I don't know in what other ways we can substitute money you get from titles somewhere else, because we're not going to win titles every year. We're just not. It's just a fact of the matter. You're not going to be that consistent every year. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. There's no team in the world that does that. But you can get it other ways. You can get it by maybe perhaps getting a better master sponsorship that pays you more money. Sponsorship and advertisements in the stadium. You can charge more for that. I mean, Botafogo can and should increase quite considerably the amount of money he gets from sponsorships and advertisements, because look at the year of the club in 2024, look at the year of the club in 2025. All of the assessments and projections increase every year, and it shoots the club into the billions of reais. So it's only natural that we charge more for real estate in our shirts, in our stadium. So, okay, yeah, that's going to, but still, Botafogo has a lot of loans. Botafogo spent a lot of money on players. We are still have outstanding debts for purchases of players that it's like 480 million reais. It's a lot of money. We are owed some money. We owe some money. However, how we owe this money and who we owe it to and how does that play out in Eagle football and Olympique Lyonnais and all the other clubs that are involved, it is not detailed. It is not explained. It's very vague. It's almost like we didn't want to say it, which is very, very concerning. And it's very suspect, because why don't you want to explain it? Why not just explain it? I mean, in some parts of the balance, the sheets and balances were very well explained, very well thought out, except there's actually grammar errors. There are grammar errors in this report. Come on now. This is serious. This is not a college assignment that I'm turning in, right? This is the sheets and balances of a multi-million-dollar entity. You are not allowed grammar errors. I'm sorry. You're not allowed grammar errors. There are some, but that's the least of the worries. I want explanations. What's going on with this money that's going back and forth between clubs? How does that tie out? We are in the negative for 2024, even though it was the year that we made the most money in the history of the club, and we are still negative. How is that possible? How is that sustainable? Lots of questions and not enough answers. We need more answers. And it's very frustrating because we're not going to get those answers, because they were supposed to be in this 2024 sheets and balances. And they weren't. We don't know still. And this is not throwing shade on John Texter. We just want to know. We were supposed to know, but it's very vague. And again, we're left in the dark. There's a lot of questions still, and we just, we're going to leave it to the hands of third parties and people on X and social media that think they're financial experts to dissect things. They may dissect it wrong. They may give out wrong information, and then people hear that wrong information. They repeat wrong information, and that wrong information spreads out, and then it becomes more work to try to, defend the club or to write, some false information and try to. It's a lot of work. Just do the work right up front. Tell us right. Everything up front, so we don't have to do the work ourselves to try to defend you, because there's a lot of people there wanting the failure of not only John Texter, but of this club. And we as supporters, we're going to do our job as trying to defend him. But if there's nothing to defend, then it's hard to do that. Hopefully within the next few days, maybe we can get a little bit more explanation. Somebody maybe digs in a little bit deeper, maybe not. But all I hope is that Botafogo can be sustainable in a short to mid-term future projection. And it doesn't look like it. And it's very worrisome. And if we win 2 titles a year, great, whatever. But we're not going to. And as of right now, what we're doing, how we're spending it, and how we're treating this club, and how we are dealing with our financials is not sustainable in the long term.